Let's go. Let's go. Breathe in. Breathe out. Matt House hired as the next defensive coordinator of LSU. And all I know is my hero, Tyrann Mathieu, is all on board. I'm excited for Coach House and all of Tiger Nation. This man loves football and teaching. One of the best I've been around. The Tiger defense will be well coached from day one. Let's all buy in. Forever LSU. So whatever Tyrann Mathieu says, you guys know how I am about my love for Tyrann. The Badger, he's on fire about it. Of course, he's been with Matt House for 3 years now. Was this a good move, though? That's obviously the poll question as we start things off. Now, a lot of you know how I feel about Matt House. We've talked about him on plenty of live streams. And if you scroll up in the chat right now, you can see the link to our Matt House deep dive. So if you are one of those people that just wants a hardcore breakdown of Matt House's really good yet somewhat rough career, you can find that link right up there. So obviously, we're going to get to as many questions as we possibly can. I know a lot of you want to talk about Harold Perkins. I know a lot of you want to talk about the Texas Bowl. I know a lot of you want to talk about this JONTRE KIRKLIN at quarterback story. Will we even have a Texas Bowl? We're going to discuss all those things. So we start off here with the super chat from Noah, as I slobbered because I just like inhaled some tacos. I was so hungry. Shout out to Hey. Do we still keep Durante Jones as safeties coach? No, you just got to move on. I think Durante's going to get another defensive coordinator job somewhere else or potentially a head coach job somewhere. I don't know what Durante's next move is going to be. Sorry I haven't been on as much. It's been a few hard months, but I'm back. I want to ask, how well do you think Brian Kelly will do in the portal? I see him doing pretty good. Actually, he's a great recruiter in my opinion. So Ray, whatever's going on, man, as we always say, you never have to apologize, guys, if you are away from the channel for a while. We all have lives. There are things in life more important than LSU football. Not a whole lot more, but still, I totally get it, Ray. You're the head of our Canada chapter of PHL. We need you here, man. You're supposed to treat me to some poutine, okay? Or poutine. Also, Rai is one of the first members of the Booger Band Club. And, of course, I'm glad you brought that up. King Robert's in the chat tonight. What's good? So I'm getting to meet Robert next week. I'm pretty excited about that. So, look. We all have things going on in our lives, okay? So you don't have to ever apologize for missing any live stream, okay? So the first thing is, yes, I do think Brian Kelly's going to do really good in the portal. He's going to have to because we desperately need some depth at a lot of spots. We really need some depth at linebacker. Thank you, King Robert. Very generous super chat, as you always do, Robert. I'm starting to get more excited. Day by day, I get to meet you. I'm really, really freaking excited. As far as the transfer portal, though, Rai, he's already done pretty well. Obviously, getting Miles Brennan. He's got Miles Frazier. I think you're going to see a lot of names wanting to play for LSU because there is immediate playing time to be had, in particular at linebacker. Greg Penn, really promising prospect. What does Micah Baskerville want to do? I don't know the answer to that. So I think linebacker Rai is somewhere that I think Brian Kelly's going to get into the portal. I also think defensive back is somewhere that Brian Kelly really needs to hit the portal. I don't think he should mess around there, get as many DBs as you possibly can. I understand that there are some other positions that we're pretty deep at that we're trying to go after. Reed brought up this name last live stream, and he's a really good football player. His name is Jacob Cowing. He is a wide receiver from UTEP, who is a really good tackle football player. Does he come to LSU, though, where targets are going to be at a premium? I don't know. So, yeah, obviously that's going to be a big thing in the portal, but these are going to be the three positions in the portal you're really going to see LSU attack over these next couple of weeks. I think running back is somewhat that a position that they look at for a little bit of Rai, but then after that, offensive line, linebacker, and the secondary. I think of the defensive line, they're pretty fine. And at the same time, you are going to be shocked at some names that I think will return to LSU. there's some guys that improved their draft stock, like a Neil Farrell and Damon Clark. There are some other guys on the defense who did not improve their draft stock, and they might return. I think Micah Baskerville is one of those guys that might want to come back. Ali Gay is someone that's going to think about it. So we go to Max's Super Chat. Obviously, I do want to dedicate this live stream to someone that means a whole lot to me. And means a whole lot to our old schoolers, while at the same time meaning a lot to the younger generation, John Madden. I could make a strong case that there is no more impactful force in the world of football than John Madden. And there's no more diverse mind in football and influencer in football than John Madden. He's the most unique voice. He's got the best voice I've ever heard of from a football broadcaster, color or play-by-play. Also, at the same time, when John Madden sold a product, you wanted that product. I swear to God, growing up as a kid, all I wanted was freaking Bloomin' Onions. And then at the same time, John Madden, the Madden video game, is obviously his most iconic contribution because it affects all ages and all cultures and all backgrounds. The all Madden teams. And then, of course, for our old schoolers, the Raiders. So John Madden is probably number one when it comes to football influencers in so many different ways. So I am dedicating this live stream to the mother effing legend, John Madden. RIP to a GOAT. I'm happy before he passed, we were able to give him his flowers while he was still alive with that documentary. I wasn't able to see it this past weekend. I understand that there's some pressing LSU matters, but I did want to talk about John Madden to start things off because honestly, there's a lot of you that are probably in here that are gamers, and you probably wouldn't be as big a football fan as you are if it wasn't for the Madden video games. So thank you, Max, for pointing that out. And we'll get back into LSU football now. Hopefully he's learned from Spagnuolo with some of those nice fabricated pressure schemes. He also did a really nice job with those young linebackers. Yeah, so obviously, you look at Kansas City's coaching staff. So Steve Spagnuolo, who's top 10 defensive coordinator in football, he's probably been the best defensive coordinator in football this year. Then at the same time, he's had a lot of help. So Matt House, obviously a really talented linebacker coach. What's really interesting about Matt House is when he actually came from Kentucky to Kansas City, the holdup was buying out his contract. And Kansas City actually paid the $150,000 to buy out Matt House's contract. I know that doesn't sound a lot, but it is for a non-coordinator or a non-head coach or just anything really. It's a lot of money. And, Matt House has been a linebacker coach alongside Ken Flajoy. I don't know how to say his last name. He's a really talented linebacker coach himself. So it's interesting that Matt House has been there for 3 years. It's also interesting that he got offered a defensive coordinator position, I believe, at Tennessee last year. He also flirted with Auburn a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, look, Matt House, he was around one of the best pass rushing defensive tackles in the NFL, Chris Jones, who ironically plays a lot like Jaquelin Roy. So I think that's a good thing. Matt House coached the best defensive tackle of all time in college in Aaron Donald. And Aaron Donald is the best defensive tackle of all time right now. Better than Dana Stubblefield, Alan Page, Warren Sapp, whoever you want to mention. And Matt House was his coach. Also, Matt House coached Josh Allen, who was a really good pass rusher at Kentucky. So hopefully our pass rushing gets a little better, even better than what it was this past year and the year before. So, yeah, obviously pressure is going to be key. Durante did a good job dialing up a bunch of exotic pressures. The one thing I do want to see get better, though, is our overall explosive play defense. It killed us versus Alabama, as great as our defense was. I felt our safety placement was a little weird for Bama's final 2 TDs, and we just can't have those mistakes happen in those big games. So hopefully Matt House is able to fix this. So I'm not going to lie, Cumulus is one of our top viewers here. He is not on fire about this. A lot of you aren't on fire about this. And that's fine, because guess what? I am not on fire about it either. Here's the thing. I want it to work out. I want him to succeed. I got to make this clear because this is an LSU fanalist channel, whatever word you want to describe me. But at the same time, I try and be as objective about it as I possibly can. And Matt House, his 5 years as a defensive coordinator, there was only 1 year where he fielded an exceptional defense. And that was his final year. So that's a good thing. I would rather it be his final year than his first year, but still. I want to welcome in everyone that is over from the Tiger Bay channel. I was on Preston's show earlier. Had a lot of fun with old Preston. Really good guy. Let's see. Reed says, can you explain this to me? Not being funny, but I heard you say that if you leave for the NFL for college this early, they won't be hired back. I don't know if I did say that. I don't remember saying that. I do think, though, that I think my point was it's a lot harder to get an NFL job than it is a college job. And that's just a simple truth, right? That's just scarcity. Let's see. Is the audio out? Is the audio out? Let me know. I freak out all the time when I can't be heard. Type Y for yes, type in for no. I don't want anyone to have issues. Let's see. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Can you hear me? That's a great poll question. Type Y for yes, type in for no. I have a lot of trust in them too. What's up, Towboat? All right, we're good. Max in New York is good. Johnny is good. Johnny, how is Gail? Tell her I said hello. Yeah, Durante's gone. He's gone. I hate it. I know a lot of you like Durante. I like Durante. He's a very interesting guy. But this is what happens when, and this is just what sucks about coaching, okay? There's probably one of the 132 people in here that has been a football coach. 2 or 3, I think my buddy Nick, who actually is a defensive coordinator, is in this chat tonight as well. Coaching sucks, right? It sucks. Unless you're Ed Orgeron and you get these big head coaching salaries, a lot of coaching just sucks. It just does. I understand Durante got $1 million to coach his defense for a year, which obviously is a sweet deal. That's going to set him up for a long period of time, but it does suck, right? So what do you do now if you're Durante? But that's part of the risk. And that's why there is so much weight in the hands of every head coach who coaches at this level. There's just no other way around it. And that's what sucks. Like, take Marcus Freeman, for instance, right? Imagine how different his life would be if he would have taken the LSU job instead of the Notre Dame job, or vice versa. It's crazy to think about, but that's how much power is in the hands of the head coach. Which leads me to this point, okay? Your coordinators are very important. So don't take what I'm about to say as downplaying the importance of coordinators, because there are coordinators watching this. I just said one of the names aloud. You guys can figure it out who that is. He texted me before the show. There's coordinators that watch his channel. I don't know any big-time Division I head coaches. I don't know them personally and don't have a relationship with a lot of them. But if you have a talented head coach, even if Matt House isn't that great, Brian Kelly can overcome it, right? Great head coaches can overcome skeptical and somewhat bad coordinatorship. Look at Nick Saban, right? Do you think it's just the talent that wins at Alabama? Do you think every single one of these coordinators he's hired has been good? No, some of them aren't good, right? I still don't think Bill O'Brien's that good, but he's got Nick Saban, right? If you have an elite head coach, it can overcome a lot of the coordinator shortcomings, right? We had the inverse of that in 2019, where we had Insminger, Brady, and Aranda, our best set of assistants we've ever had. And we had, obviously Tommy Robinson and Corey Raymond and a lot of other really good coaches. But if you have an elite head coach, it can overcome bad coordinators as well. So I'll say this, even though I would slightly have preferred Durante to still be the guy, I would still much rather be in the position we're in now with a really good coach who's really good between the headset, who's really good at putting together a game plan. I'd rather have that than a not so great coach with uh, Wade Phillips as a coordinator or Jim Johnson or whoever you want to mention. So, yeah. ASAP, good to see you, man. Keith, welcome to the channel. Let me know if this is your first time. Yeah, this is true. So, Keith, I'll put my favorite LSU player of all time back up there. There you go. Tyrann Matthews all in, baby. The Caucus, congratulations. So, the Caucus is a new member of the Booger Band Club. Congratulations. Hey, loves her some Wade Phillips. And this is how you should feel, right? And this is what I've always said. Just because I say something, I've been wrong. If I'm not on fire about it, it still can work out, right? It still can. I've always brought this up. There's only been one time where a coach was hired and I said that coach is going to win a national championship. And that was when Urban Meyer was hired at Ohio State while he was still in the prime of his career. But every coach that's ever been hired, there's always going to be a bit of uncertainty, right? So, yeah, I mean, I'm obviously really excited about Tyrann Mathieu being on board. But then again, this is Tyrann Mathieu's friend, right? He's been with them for quite some time. So I'm pretty sure he's going to have a little bias mixed in there. But I do think TM7 is definitely going to show some love. And once again, it's hard for me to be objective about Tyrann because, he's the greatest of all time. Let's be honest, though, OC is more important, and it sucks that we have to root for Bama to get ours, supposedly. Yeah, it is true. The offensive coordinator hire is the more important hire. So we'll see. Jared, I hope you're feeling better. Let's be honest, though, OC is more important, and it sucks that we have to root for Bama to get ours. Yeah, I never like to root for coaches to lose, but if you do want Mike Denbrock to be your OC, you want Cincinnati to get their brains beat in. I love you, Carter, but you're tripping. House's resume is deeper, more consistent than Durante's. I don't know. I don't know if that's true though, right? Both spent time as NFL assistant coaches, right? Now, Matt House has more defensive coordinator experience, but 4 out of those 5 years he was a defensive coordinator, he wasn't good. Okay. Fueled by haters, as you see on the bottom screen, Blake's going to be on Thursday. And as many of you know, Blake and I are best friends in this LSU media game. And it's funny, I met him just about 6 months ago, and I still haven't met him in person. We talk on the phone all the time, and I'm really excited about it. I've been on the show a ton. So Blake will be our guest on Thursday, and I understand Blake is not the former NFL leader in touchdowns, and Blake also didn't win an Oscar like Van Lathan, but he is still going to be awesome. As many of you know, Blake is just freaking incredible at every media thing he does, and it's going to be fire on Thursday night, so you don't want to miss that. And that's the thing. Blake and I disagree on a lot. And shout out to Danielle. She's a member of the Booger Band Club. There you go. So we have 2 Booger Band Club members on the chat tonight, and that's just new Booger Band Club members. Johnny 5 is in here. Ulysses is in here. King Robert is in here. Jared is in here. Van was freaking incredible. The dude, he's so next level. He really is. So I hope Cincinnati wins the Natty. That's a great story. College football is about stories, right? I don't want Bama winning again. Oh God, Mick's gonna show that love to Danny. Drink of choice tonight. National championship beer. Did you know that LSU had national championship beer? I'm thinking about cracking a 5-hour, but I'm not going to because I'm so hyped. Even though I only slept for 2 hours, we had some plumbing issues. So, King Robert, your very generous donation is obviously going to help with that. I'm so excited. Me and King Robert finally get to hang out on Monday. I'm pretty freaking pumped up. Michigan is a dark horse, right? Jared want to talk about LSU basketball, but I'm not talking about LSU basketball. So quit asking. That was for Jay Hill. No, we'll get into some LSU basketball a little bit later. But LeBron over Jordan is like the Bills championship runs. 0-1. I hate every SEC team, but I hope Georgia beats Bama if that's what it comes to. Boot the F up. Let's go, Will Wade. Actually, Chris, I'm glad you brought this up. Chris 606. Do y'all see in the photo there? Chris 607 there. Did you guys know that Chris is in a long line of Chris's, right? Chris 606. That's Chris 607. So Chris is the 606th Chris. Chris number 1 was actually the child of Adam and Eve. That's how far back it goes. He had the opportunity to learn from Todd Bowles. I think he's ready to prove his worth. Excited about the hire. Let's see. Todd Bowles. When was he under Todd Bowles? Let me pull up his full resume. I've only really focused on his stops from 2012 until now. Let's see. When did he coach under Todd Bowles? I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. But if he did coach under Todd Bowles, it's pretty special because Todd is top 5 DC in the NFL. Oh, so not Todd Bowles. I think he means Steve Spagnuolo, who they played in the Super Bowl. So I get it. Good question, Big Mac. I guess I don't know. I don't. I guess Durante will finish out his tenure. I don't think Durante wants to resign. He wants to get fired so he can get his full payout or his full buyout, which I'm sure is pretty hefty. So we'll see. But you are right, though, Caucus. He has coached under some really good football players. Yeah, ASAP. I was one of the many of you that had LSU minus 13. If you don't remember this moment, are you really an LSU football fan? Are you really an LSU football fan if you don't remember that iconic moment? Spagnola. Yes, Spags is great. Good question here from Rai Rai. Always showing Jay Hill. I think I'm gonna put Dorsey's jersey up here pretty soon. That's obviously a dream guest of mine. But yeah, we're always gonna show love to Jay Hill. Jay Hill should be in the chat a little bit later. Nice Hill jersey, by the way. Next question. Do you think the O-line will be better next season? Fix Carter's pipes super chat thread. Fix my pipes. Pipes. What pipes? You talking about this? I don't know. The O-line will be better. from a coaching standpoint because we're going to get Brad Davis year number 2. Then at the same time, and this is even more important, Brad Davis year number 2, and we're going to have a new center. As much as I love Liam Shanahan, we needed to try somebody new. Okay. All right. So let's go to Carvis, who also watches a lot. Oh, the plumber. I did have plumbing issues. It was an SOB. And Preston, hey, is really, hey, Preston, my mind didn't go there. That one's fine. But maybe 10 years down the road, I'm just kidding. My plumbing. But hey, does appreciate that because the plumbing has been an issue. Let's see. Hopefully, House will use Spagnola's scheme similar to what Durante used the end of the year, which was a 5-2-4. The linebackers on the line of scrimmage covering a tackle or a guard get back into the passing lanes. It is interesting, Carlos. I am glad you brought that up because I do want to talk a little bit about Burrow really quickly. I know we did in the last live chat. He destroyed the Ravens when he was in empty. For the first time, the Bengals really allowed Joe to be Joe and just throw a whole lot. And you saw what happened, right? So a lot of NFL defenses, most of you watch the NFL Monday Night Football, Miami versus the Saints. That's all Miami did. They crowded the line of scrimmage and they got free runners. So we've seen the NFL do more of that this past year. Miami did that, I believe, on 40-plus snaps versus Baltimore earlier this year. And I see college teams doing that more often as well. And we saw what happened to the LSU defense when they started to do that at the end of the year. Now, it did help out. Damon Clark is probably like the best blitzing linebacker because he's so freaking athletic. But at the same time, I do think I do think Damon Clark is going to be so heavily missed. And I do like the fact that Matt House is known as a linebacker aficionado, especially after losing Blake Baker. So we shall see what happens. But Carvis, even on top of that, I really love comments like this because Carvis, obviously, his football knowledge is immense. And I hope we see more of that. We saw how well that worked for us last year. Uh-oh. The Master Blaster is here. I love a good 5-2-4, baby. Let's go. I wouldn't go so far as saying great. Hopefully Miles Frazier is who we think he is. Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest. Austin Deculus was pretty lights out. Ed Ingram, his Texas A&M film was spectacular, like mind-blowingly good. So yeah, it was some big shoes to fill. Master Blaster. Lots of super chats coming in. Thank you so much, Jared, as always. Let's go to Esteban first. Esteban, where have you been? I have to say this. Esteban is one of the few 6-band Booger Band members. Esteban freaking loves some Booger Bands. So Esteban, thank you so much. Once again, we got them all right here. We've actually upgraded the shipping. 3 for $25. That also includes a bunch of fancy cards. I'm going to go ahead and ruin this surprise for the caucus. He bought some Booger Bands earlier, and he is a former basketball player. And I actually threw in a rare card from an LSU basketball legend caucus. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but that is coming with your order. Robert with another super chat. Thank you so much. Robert, you know how much I love Joe Burrow. That pass, I understand. This stuff is pissing me off, guys. They just, I don't know why. Because, okay, so we had Van Lathan on, and he's actually in the national media, right? So Van actually has an opinion on this because he is in the national media. And he himself said that the national media, for some reason, doesn't like LSU, right? I don't know why. There's still some people out there that don't believe in Joe Burrow. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it has anything to do with LSU, but I kept hearing, well, Baltimore was playing with their JV defense. And I was like, did you see Joe Burrow actually play that game? They had so many free blitzers and free runners running at him, and it didn't freaking matter. He still put a 525 spot on him. I'm sick and tired. I'm so sick and tired of it. He's better than Herbert. Okay? He lost to the freaking Texans. Matthew's also a six-bander. Thank you, Towboat, as always, for supporting me. Fins up, baby. Honestly, felt bad for Ian Book last night. He was concussed. And, yeah, Cesar Ruiz. Oh, my God. And it sucks because instead of Cesar Ruiz, we could have had Patrick Queen. We could have had T. Higgins. You notice we have no freaking wide receivers. This isn't an NFL chat, though. Congrats to you, Max. I know you're really excited about that. But Esteban, the sixth band member, thank God we're going to a new offensive line unit. There's no progression with the starting five. Once Davis got there, you saw backups outplaying some of the original starting five. Yeah. I'll say this, okay? Ed Ingram was bad versus Kentucky. And I think after that Kentucky game, he said, God, I suck right now, and I need to get drafted. And for the rest of the year, he was lights out. Austin Deculus was really good. So those two guys were good. Johnny wants more book bands. Thank you so much, Johnny. I appreciate you. I still have your address, Johnny, so I'll send it out to you. And there you go. There was no progression with the starting five. Once Davis got there, you saw the backups outplaying some of the original starting five. I still think we should have gone to a new center, or at least tried a new center at some point, Esteban. Also, the right guard position. Look, Cardell might have this thing locked up. He's got a decent shot. However, I think the starting right guard should be Cam Wire, who put some good right guard tape out there as in 2020. I don't think Cam Wire is good enough to play offensive tackle, guys. It was a rough year for him. Got banged up a lot playing that position. I would like to see Cam Wire start the season off at guard. My dream offensive line to start next year would be our new guy, Frazier. Then at left guard, I don't know. That's where it gets tricky. And left guard and center. You got to find someone that can snap the ball. Then at right guard, Cam Wire, and then right tackle, we'll see. Ruiz just had a bad game. He just had a bad game on Monday Night Football. For the most part, he's been okay. But still, when you had the opportunity to get T. Higgins gave Grant Delpit the nastiest stiff arm I've ever seen an LSU player take. And T. Higgins is a monster. And I'm glad he's on Joe Burrow's team. T. Higgins is a beast, though. Dear Lord. Dear freaking Lord. I mean, Joe might have his best set of receivers he's had since 2 years ago. So, yeah, Devin, I think Dellinger is going to be one of your starters at tackle. I will say this about Delhi. This bowl game's going to be huge for him, right? I didn't play offensive line. Defensive line, I'll say this as a defensive lineman. It's a little easier to get over a bad game as a defensive lineman, right? Because you still have 2 layers of defense behind you. Whereas if you have a crappy game as the offensive lineman, you're going to get the most important player on your team killed. And that's what Reese did last night. But more importantly, that's what Garrett Dellinger did versus Texas A&M. Dellinger was really bad. It was a true freshman starting his second game ever. He had the best game of his life. He was PFF's #1 graded left tackle in the country the week before against ULM. And then the next week, he went up against defensive ends who are going to be in the NFL next year, and he was massacred. He was chalk outlined. Every word you want to describe it. It sucked. I felt bad for him. I thought LSU should have tried something new. It was getting that bad. We're lucky enough to still able to get it done. But yeah, that's why this bowl game is going to be huge for Garrett, because he's probably going to get the start at left tackle again. And hopefully this is a bounce back game. He's going to be going up against Division I athletes again. And we shall see what happens. Once again, not a knock on Garrett Dellinger. I think he's going to be a fantastic player. That was just one bad game against a really good defensive line for Texas A&M. Okay? That's why this game on film is going to be huge for the Texas Bowl, so we can see if he can be our guy next year at, one of the most important positions in football. Tony! Tony, come here. I'll give you some juice. Right here, Tony. Unless you're one of those Neanderthals, a.k.a. Android users. Right here, Tony. I got you. I got you. Come on over, Tony. Tony, unless you're in the middle of the woods, just put the phone on the charger. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Does anyone need me to do this for Tony again? I have to stop this live stream to instruct Tony on how to do this. Okay? Even if you're one of those Android guys or gals, all you have to do that's it, Tony. That's it. Adam! I love it. Out that boot, Android gang. Adam, I think Kayshon's going to stay. I think he's going to stay. Get Gordon, the attorney, is going to get it done. Kayshon's going to stay. As far as the other key offensive pieces, Jack Besh is going to stay. Brian Thomas Jr. is going to stay. Malik Neighbors is going to stay, right? Some of the other offensive pieces, obviously TDP's got an NFL decision to make. I think he's going to go. John Emery, I don't know what he's going to do. Adam, I think he'll come back. And let's keep it going. Obviously, Liam's gone. Ed's gone. Deculus is gone. I don't see any other offensive linemen entering the portal because there's so much playing time to be had there. Could I see a Cardell or someone say, look, I want to go somewhere where I could for sure start. I'm in year 4 of my development. Let me go somewhere where I could start. I could see that as well. But Kayshon is obviously the key, right? He's more important than everyone else. Miles is going to stay. Garrett's going to stay. Walker's going to stay. So Kayshon is the #1 guy, and I think he's going to come back at him. All right. Chris is an Android guy. Scaring you with the plug, Chief? How am I scaring you with the plug? Johnny's an Android guy. Tetris, I think Will Campbell will be a backup. I think if there is a true freshman who plays next year, it's Emory Jones. Johnny, I got you. You know I got you, man. Injuries, right? He's got, I think he's faster than the other guys. Injuries. One of Hilton's classmates is in the chat right now, and we talked about him at our PHL meetup. And our guy Go Reese, MF Doom. What's up, Sib G? Good to see you. Sib G was one of our first chatters tonight. Good to see you. Yeah, Chris Hilton's got to get healthy. Also, I hope he doesn't play the bowl game because I think he's at 4 games right now. So yeah. Wow, a lot of you are Android guys. I know King Robert's iPhone. I know Jared's iPhone. Mm. Android. Oh, well, of course, Ulysses' iPhone. Let's go. Let's go. iPhone 6S Plus. Let's go, Esteban. You might as well have a BlackBerry then, right? Leonard doesn't ever chat. He's fixing power lines all around the world. But Leonard said, I'm going to defend my Android. It's true, Danielle. If the Android opens up more room for super chats, I'm totally down. I'm an Apple guy, right? Even though Tim Cook's an Auburn grad, I'm an Apple guy. Sib G's Android. Theo! There we go, baby. iPhone 4C, baby. You might as well have a Nokia brick or a Razor. Who remembers the Razor phones? Good to hear from you, Leonard. Chat's so much better when Leonard. Dang, Chris. Goodness gracious. Going over to Android. The dark side. I love it, man. Adam had a Razor. I'm still gunning for that Cricket wireless sponsorship, baby. Let's go. Come on, Cricket. Show me some love, baby. Swerve. S21 is my go-to 12 Pro in the car to keep up with the iMessages cult. Swerve. Without a photo. You're over here just hanging out with 2 phones? Really? Really? Wazam. I love this name. Wazam Bezo. Good to hear from you, man. Welcome to the channel. I was pimping on that Razor. All right, let's go back to some LSU stuff here. I don't have any sponsors. I have no sponsors. Underdog, shout out to Underdog Fantasy. We did a lot of stuff with them before the season. Still no sponsors. Kobe, good to hear from you. Kobe's so funny. Team Android, 1 ring, 1 heartbeat. I need to pull a Spice Adams. Chuck, I need my Bluetooth, man. I need the Bluetooth in the ear. What's happening, Chuck? I love me some Spice Adams, baby. Just I know that's right, Chuck. If you're not a Spice Adams fan, this channel is not for you. I love it. Spice is like the best meme when he gets out of the car and kicks that leg up. Oh, man, he makes me so happy. One of my good friends was a teammate of his on the Bears. I know a few of you don't know who Spice Adams is. He's the funniest guy on the planet. Jay Hill, yeah, I had a lot of fun with Preston. Good to have you back, man. Jersey's still up from the interview. I might put Dorsey's jersey up there, Jay Hill. But Spice, man. Bigham's a basketball player. Freaking love it. Ed, what's good? So let's talk about the offensive coordinator. Let me ask you a question. Okay. Let me check the poll question. I haven't been able to check it in a while. 78%. 233 votes. I would cry if Spice Adams jumped on our live chat. Cry. I don't think I'm funny enough to be with Spice Adams, though. Spice is just probably top 5 IG personality for me. Top 5 comedian. Haha Davis is up there. Trey Kennedy's up there. I have a lot. I love that kind of comedy. I really do. Let's see here. So our poll question is done. Wow, it's a pretty good sample. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Shout out King Robert here. Jeremy, I think the Master Blaster's in here. I know you're asking about him this weekend for Van. Big Daddy, what's up? Good to hear from you. Carlton, good to hear from you as well. Welcome to the channel. I hope I'm wrong about my skepticisms about this move. But this is a brilliant thing about football. Number one, I hope I'm wrong. I hope a year from now, when Matt House is accepting the Broyles Award for the nation's best assistant coach, all of you guys and gals comes back here in a year and dunks on me. Just because I'm skeptical doesn't knock out the possibility of him being good at this. He could be good at this. A lot could have changed in the last 3 years. He could be a new man. In my Matt House deep dive, though, just wanted to share this one simple truth. If you were to simplify just a 1-sentence response to how I feel about Matt House, it's this. In 5 years of being a defensive coordinator, he was only good one of those times. Or let me revise that. In his 5 years as a defensive coordinator, he was only exceptional one time. That's it. That's it. Paris spelling out my name. I love it. Good to see you, my friend. She was in the chat earlier. I think Paris just hates us. It's all good. Master Blaster J Hill wants to see you. I know, Tony, you're driving somewhere. So, okay. So Drewski, yeah. Drewski's probably the most popular right now in the world. His comedy is a little different, though. His live chats are just wild. Just wild. If I had to pick one, though, I would say Spice. Kev on stage is great. Tony Baker is very underrated. Trey Kennedy's really good. But yeah. Kev on stage is so underrated. It's so underrated. There you go, Jay Hill. The Master Blaster. Breed says Matt Denbrock is for sure going to be the guy. Mac Daddy Donk. I still can't get over this name. I really can't. Van should be in the chat pretty soon. I hope he's able to jump in soon. There you go. Tony said, I'm not driving. I'm just chilling. Tony, there you go. Tony, your Jeremy Hill card, I still got to send it to you. It's right over there. Boom. Master Blaster's getting this card because Jay Hill's a fan of yours, Master Blaster. This is numbered to 150. Only 150 of these Jeremy Hill Auto Stratus. I like this one a lot, but I want you to have it, right? I'm lucky enough to have a few good Jay Hill autos right up there. I'm mostly a Tyrant collector, as you can see. Also got a new Tyrant right here. Red Pulsar. My dad got me this and a few others for Christmas. And pretty excited about that, man. Also, if you get booger bands, we have a lot more LSU cards to send you. And we are coming up on 6,000 subscribers. Jared and I were talking about that. So what we're going to do when we hit 6,000 subscribers, I am going to give away one of my Matt Flynn autographs. Matt Flynn doesn't have many autograph cards, so they're a little scarce. I'm going to give away one of my Matt Flynn autographs because obviously Matt is a freaking beast. Yeah, Tony, I'm going to send it to you. I wanted to wait and get more LSU cards. Adam, it's pretty simple, man. All you got to do is send a Venmo or Cash App $25. And you shoot me an email, and you're part of the Booger Band Club. Jay Hill's a part of the Booger Band Club. Van's a part of the Booger Band Club. Danielle became a Booger Band Club member today. Once again, rest in peace to Boog the dog. Let's see. All right, Van says he's on his way. So, Van Lathan about to be in here. Kelly not going to hit 3 straight home run DC hires and swing and miss on this guy. Trust Kelly. That's true. I mean, obviously, when he hired Elko, that was one of the best DC hires when it actually happened. We do have some 3XL shirts coming in. I think we have some 3XL. Let me see. We do have a new shirt design coming out pretty soon, and they are being shipped and proofed as we speak. Jerry, I think it's going to be around there, probably 1.25 million. I trust BK as well. Again, I hope I'm wrong on this. I trust Brian Kelly as well. Oh, Jay Hill, I appreciate it. So Jay Hill signing a bunch of cards. We're going to give a few out on the channel. Pretty excited about that as well. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to send you some really good stuff this time, Johnny. I've sent you some good stuff. I got some really good stuff to give out. So, Les Miles offense. Okay, so Tony's also a member of the 6 Booger Band Club. There you go. The Master Blaster, you are part of it. I'm really glad Jeremy brought this up. Okay, so tomorrow, I was going to do a JONTRE KIRKLIN deep dive. Okay, But I'm about to share with you a pretty interesting stat. There is a myth when it comes to high school football players, okay? And Jeremy can speak to this more than I can. Not all high school recruits that get a 4-star rating or an even 5-star rating are good. A lot of those recruits aren't that good. And what I mean by not that good is that they weren't dominant high school football players. So, JONTRE KIRKLIN is a high school football legend at Letcher High School. Okay? So, JONTRE KIRKLIN won 2 state championships at Letcher. Okay? And it was a big deal because, you know, Letcher's had a lot of really good football players. Obviously, Jarvis is their most famous. But what's very interesting is JONTRE KIRKLIN's high school quarterback numbers were a lot better than I thought that they were going to be. Now, whenever you run an offense with the most athletic guy on your team and he's not a quarterback, the completion percentage numbers are always going to not be great. And that was the case with JONTRE KIRKLIN. So you know that. Like, he barely completed 50% of his passes. But what's really fascinating, Paris, thank you for the super chat. It's Duke basketball season. Yes, indeed. What's really fascinating is Max Johnson and TJ Finley were not good high school quarterbacks. In fact, they were alarmingly non-dominant. JONTRE KIRKLIN dominated in high school at a position that he shouldn't even have been playing. He averaged 20 more passing yards per game than Max Johnson averaged in high school. And that's just passing yards. He also averaged 70 yards per game on the ground. So JONTRE KIRKLIN averaged about 183 passing yards per game, according to Max Preps. He also averaged 70 plus yards, rushing yards per game. So he averaged 250 total yards per game. That's actually pretty good. It's not exceptional, but it's still really good. Okay. Once again, a position he shouldn't even be playing, and they know you're probably going to run it. And JONTRE KIRKLIN was a really good high school quarterback. Sometimes when you see that, it's just rushing stats. He threw for 180 yards per game. That's a lot. So, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It really wasn't. Sometimes the first thing that jumps out at you is the lack of passing yards. 181 passing yards per game is a lot for a guy who's just back there to run. So yeah, maybe JONTRE should have gone to try and be a 3-star quarterback at a really small school. I don't know. But you don't really know until you try it. So the funny thing about it, and Michael, you make a really good point here, is most of the high school ratings are accurate. They get most of it right. But the red flags were there for Max Johnson and TJ Finley, right? Because their high school stats just weren't that great. So it's very interesting. Throw screens to himself. Why not? Exactly. And it might be better to have a guy who could just run a bunch when you have an O-line like that. There you go. Matt, thank you so much. Shoot me a message on Instagram or Twitter at Carter the Power so I can have your address. And let me know who your favorite player is. And I'm going to hook you up with some cards. And once again, this is just a one-game rental. You could find a way to win one game. Hey, John. I think it would be a little easier just to say yes or no, right? Let's go. Sam Matthews, send me a message, IG or Twitter at Carter the Power. Adam! Thank you so much, Adam, for your generous donation. He is also a member of the Booger Band Club. I am loving this. Johnny 5, Adam, and Matt. Just shoot me a message with your address. I'm going to hook you up with some good old stuff. Ry's a member of the Booger Band Club as well. Paris is as well. So, Carl, good to see you, man. Yeah, I don't think you're going to see that with BK Danielle. Paris is back in the chat, and all is well. Let JONTRE do his magic. Huh? Honestly, it's probably not going to be great, but we could win a game 13-10 or something like that. Huh? Jay Hill, Leonard's got a question for you. How valuable is DC House's experience practicing with defending Mahomes? And it's a pretty good question. We shall see. Yeah, run the Rich Rod system. But look, anything can happen. Air Force won a bowl game today throwing the football. You never know. Bowl games are weird, right? My favorite thing earlier was Dana Holgerson at the podium just trashing Auburn and trashing the food in Birmingham. Huh? I was like, really, Holgo? God. Some coaches are just genuine a-holes, and I love it. I freaking love it. Like, if you're a jerk, be a jerk. I'm always a big believer. Be yourself. If you're an a-hole, don't change who you are. Holgo is a genuine a-hole, and I love it. Birmingham's food is good, too. I've had Olive Garden there before. Anyway, kidding. They do have good restaurants there, I think. I'm kidding. I've been in Birmingham a bunch. They do have good food. Thank you, Adam, for the email. Appreciate you. Thank you, Jared, for the super chat. I appreciate you. Chris. I love it. Chris with the Android. Crossroads. Welcome to the channel, Crossroads. I love it. Chris wants to be a member of the Booger Band Club. There you go. Got a bunch of Booger Band Club members tonight. I love it. I'm going to be busy mailing stuff out tomorrow. Crossroads, welcome to the channel. And before I answer Crossroads' question here, please comment right now. Even if you're one of the 162 people in here that have not commented yet, I want you. I know some of you watch on a big screen, which is kind of scary because I am so hideous. Still, if you're not watching on a big screen, you can chat, right? I need you right now, if this is your first time watching, to let me know right now in the chat. I want to know if this is your first time. Okay? Crossroads, I believe this is your first time. Welcome to the channel. I think Okay, so I think number 4 here, longer arms. I don't think that's John Emery. I think that's Kayshon. So that means this photo was from 2018, I think. Or is that Kayshon? There's no way that could be Todd Harris. Smiley, second time. Welcome. LaTerrence Welch love in the chat. I love it. Christopher. See ya. And Danielle. Of course. I think we win the bowl. I love it. Anyone but Bama. I know as LSU fans, we want Cincinnati to lose. Because if Mike Denbrock is going to be your guy, you want him to get here as soon as possible, right? But I don't want Cincinnati to lose. The best thing that could happen is Cincinnati beat Bama, and then at the same time, Cincinnati lose to whoever in the title game to make Bama look really bad. Thank you, Chris. First time, long time. Petty Tendergrass. It's not your first time because your avatar is very iconic. All right, Chris, I need you to shoot me a message on Twitter or Instagram. I just got Matt. There you go. IG. Email. Adam, I just got your email. There we go. Exactly. Let him just win it all. Dang, TRU. No SEC allegiance. Chris, this is your first time? And you buy booger bands right off the top? I really appreciate you. Man, I really do. What's up, Borders? Good to see you, man. I think this is your first time. And look, shout out to all the first timers. I love that Chris already's got his photo made up right here. Look at this photo, man. I love it, Chris, where you got the vest on. I've never understood the Patagonia vest thing, right? Does it actually keep you warm? Because it doesn't actually cover your sleeves. So does it actually keep your torso warm? I've always wondered that. I don't know. But Christopher, lovely photo here. I much rather see the avatars, right? Like Kenneth. Kenneth's avatar is phenomenal. Simper's avatar is not phenomenal. TRU's phenomenal is phenomenal. Pegasus avatar is not. I'm tired of these letters. Unless you're Chris, who buys booger bands. First time watching. There we go. T Mill. Also a member of the Booger Band Club. Mark. There you go, Chris. It's warm and it's light. Win-win. I like it. Got to show those guns off, baby. Carl, sometimes the teams just aren't that good, right? We made Auburn look like freaking the Johnny Manziel Texas A&M Aggies. Auburn's not a good football team. They almost lost to Georgia State or Southern, whatever. They're just not good. They're not good. And their best win, I think, was against a banged-up Ole Miss team. And it pisses me off that Auburn could not close the deal when Bill O'Brien in Alabama crapped the bed. But guess what freaking happens? Brian Harsin coached like a freaking coward in that game when he was aggressive against every other team. But against Alabama, he tried to back into the win. Swerve, there you go. Huh? Huh? Is this you teaching physics here? I love it, Swerve. There you go. Swerve is the one with the iPhone and Android. So, what kind of business are you running as a physics teacher? I have a feeling, Swerve, you are Walter White. I'm kidding. That's a good photo, though. I like it. I like a photo that tells a story. King Ulysses has switched up his photo. I love this photo here. You see, you get some bokeh in the background. You get some lights. You got King Ulysses rocking a pretty sweet hat here and the jacket and the hoodie. I love it. I know, Jared. I know. But a lot of people say, SEC, SEC. Really? Really? Huh? This is true. Jared's avatar. That's so funny. It does tell a story. A really good story, a fun story. There you go, Matt. His favorite player, Trendon Holiday. I like that. Jamar Chase. Cool stuff, man. Danielle, your booger bands are in transit. Put a Drew Brees card in there just for you. Adam got rid of his letter as well. Look at Adam. Look at this mustache. Adam, are you kidding me? You can't walk around with the mustache like that. How do you keep all the ladies off of you? I mean, my goodness gracious. Adam, dear Lord, Adam. Whew. Man, that mustache. Goodness gracious. There's 1,000 dudes in here that would want to grow a mustache like that one. My goodness. Antoine's not in here. Antoine has the best mustache on PHL, but Adam, you might have him beat. And Adam, you joined the Booger Band Club tonight. So you might be the new #1 mustache on PHL. Michael changed his again. I like it, Michael. Look, you're kind of looking off to the side. I see the little Saint logo right there. Michael, this is an interesting avatar, man. The car seat here looks very interesting. It doesn't even look like a car seat. It looks like you're in an F1 car. And you put a filter at an angle? I mean, what is it? Is this a Bumble profile photo, or is it just you just trying to look studious? It looks like Michael just got done reading every Rene Descartes I Think Therefore I Am book, and he's thinking. Johnny 5 switched it up. There you go, Johnny 5. I like it. Work won't let you have the beard. Corporate these days. Corporate, huh? I'm kidding. Don't say anything that'll get you fired. But corporate these days. I will express the frustration for you, Adam. That's what I'm here for. To express y'all's work frustration. Because of you, I get to do this. Oh, yes. Daniel, I live in South Georgia, so I'm around Florida fans of Florida State. So Danielle is a living antithesis of Florida Georgia line. But I like it, Michael. I like a philosophical photo like that. Johnny, loving the smile there. Johnny, say hi to Gail. Say hi to everyone. Just spur of the moment. I love it, man. Michael said, spur of the moment. But first, let me put a Nashville filter on this bad boy. Let's go. Van's supposed to be in here anytime. I'm still waiting on Van to come hang out. It's still so cool. Van Lathan hangs out with us. JL hangs out with us. Always really cool. You never post my comments, so I stopped commenting. Definitely a regular viewer. Tristan. Really? Really? So I apologize for never putting your comment on there. So part of the reason why I say to super chat and all that stuff is that I automatically see it because it lights up. But from where I'm sitting, the comments do tend to fly in. And it also helps if you have a photo. It's a lot easier for me to see it because look, Tristan, Shell's comment comes right up after yours. And you see they're both brown, letter avatar. So it is easier when there's a photo of you. Plus, it's just better. We want to see y'all's beautiful faces. Local attorney McKernan. Yeah, that's true. Get Gordon. Let's go. Chris English changed his. There you go, Chris. I like it. Bruce. House's defenses have been better than you're giving them credit for. You have to take into consideration talent and opponents, grade higher. We're respected by both college and NFL coaches. Okay, so let's go level by level. Jason, one of our top supporters. Jason, my guy. One of the many super dads on PHL. I always shout out Jason for that. Jason, I believe you're taking your son to the bowl game, which is obviously pretty awesome. And then at the same time, Jason took his son on a tour of Tiger Stadium before the season began. That just warms my heart. Father-son activities. Dads, you need to be dads in your child's life. Carvis is a super dad. King Ulysses is a super dad. Jared's a super dad. You got to be there. You got to be there. Mac Daddy Donk. I like it. Cajun Smoker. Before I go to Jason's super chat, I find Brian Kelly to be a very weak head coach. I'm not excited about being an LSU coach. In my opinion, he never beat good schools at Notre Dame or Cincy. I think this was a terrible hire. Let me answer Jason's super chat really quickly. So yeah, this is true, right? Matt House is going to have the most talent he's ever had on a defense. True over the long term. I think 2018 Kentucky's defense probably has more talent than our defense coming back next year. Obviously, a lot of that comes down to the health of Mason Smith and Sage Ryan, but your point overall is true. In year 2, he's going to have the most talent he's ever worked with at the college level because the 2018 Kentucky defense was really nasty. So let me go to Bruce's comment as well, because Bruce's comment kind of ties in with this. Let me bring back Bruce here. You have to take into consideration talent and opponent's grade higher. Okay. Kobe, of course, Kobe is a super dad. Father of 2 future Lady Tigers. I love it. Master Blaster, we got to figure that out soon. Change it up your photo, the Leonard Fournette. I love it. So, first thing is Matt House did have a lot of talent on that first Pittsburgh defense. They returned 8 starters. It was a shift from the Big East to the ACC, which was new. He did have to go up against Jameis Winston in his very first game as a defensive coordinator. And we're talking prime Jameis Winston, the year he won the Heisman. So that sucked. But still, he wasn't good that first year at Pitt. And that was actually his second year at Pitt, where the year before he was a secondary coach. That defense was very experienced, and they just weren't that good. And they had Aaron Donald. They just weren't good. I'll pull up the numbers right here. Okay. Jason, I think you saw our deep dive on it this weekend. And let me move your comment just for a second here. I don't know, Tony. That's a good question. Aaron, a lot of the talent level hard, get the elites at Notre Dame. Yeah, we'll talk about Brian Kelly in just a second, but let me answer Jason's super chat. Even though that was Jason that commented. So as you see here, these are the yard per play numbers and the yard per pass attempt numbers. Okay, so the first two columns here, national yards per play and national yards per pass attempt, these are just the base national numbers. And as you can see, outside of 2018 Kentucky, his yard per play numbers weren't that great at either Florida International or Pittsburgh, right? He was outside the top 60 in both of those seasons. And then his yard per pass attempt numbers weren't great. He only was at Florida International for a year. They still weren't that great. His first year at Kentucky, he was not good. And then in 2018, he was phenomenal. Then you go even further and you Power 5 adjust the numbers, and they still weren't good, right? So 12th out of 14, not good. 9th out of 14th in 2014, not good. So even if you Power 5 adjust the numbers, they're still not that great. Same thing is true in the SEC, where his first year at Kentucky, they weren't that great. Brad White joins the staff and they become radically better. It is a little concerning. There's just no other way around it when I look at these numbers. Now, once again, it's been 3 years since he's been a defensive coordinator. He could be a brand new coach, but we'll see. We'll see. So, yeah, I mean, Bruce, I would just have to disagree with you on that. I just don't think that these numbers are good. I just don't. I just don't know if anyone thinks that those numbers were good. At the same time, he had a very favorable pace of play. I won't get too deep into that. You can watch my Madhouse deep dive from last week because that could get a little boring. But it's true. And this is also something else. They also played Southern Miss, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Western Kentucky, and Missouri that season. Yeah, but even if you Power 5 adjust the numbers, Ulysses, they're still really good, right? 5th and 4th is really good for Kentucky. And I'm not going to lie, Matt House called an amazing game versus Penn State in their bowl game. When I watched that game, I was really blown away by the defensive schemes in that game. So, yeah, once again, to follow up on this comment, he did have talent that first year at Pitt. The second year at Pitt, that defense wasn't nearly as good personnel-wise as his first year at Pitt. But still, I mean, either way you cut it, he just wasn't that good. But it is true. He will have more talent to work with, just not in year one. I would say the 2018 Kentucky defense has about the similar amount of talent we're going to have on our defense next year. And that's true, Reed. No, this is true. Just because you have returning starters doesn't mean that you're for sure going to be good. But the point still remains the same. You returned all those guys and you still weren't good. That's the point. The bottom line is I would feel more comfortable about a coordinator coach if they had one more year of good coordinator play in a 5-year sample. But still, I do agree with you, Reed, though, that returning starters isn't necessarily like the be-all, end-all. But when I was doing my research, I saw a lot of Pitt Panther fans really disappointed with Matt House in year one. Have you heard anything about Pete's possibly staying? Donovan, good to hear from you again. I'd be fine with it. Since it is so late in the game, Donovan, there is a non-zero, yet still very little chance. But it is a chance that Jake Peetz is retained as the offensive coordinator. Just throwing it out there. Until we actually see an OC hired, especially if this Denbrock thing plays itself out and Denbrock decides to stay at Cincinnati, we'll see. So Donovan, let me know if that answers your question. Good to hear from you again. Good to see you playing guitar at a wedding. I love it. Fits very nice. Guitar looks pretty nice. Has house on recruiting. A little concerning on that too. We touched on it in the deep dive regarding what actually happened when he left Kentucky. So we'll see. Out of all people to say, I'm getting gray, the second president of the United States is going to say that I'm getting gray? John, first off, how are you still alive? Second thing is, how can you talk about me getting gray? John Adams. You know what's really cool about John? John, it is cool that you had Paul Giamatti play you in a film or in a series. It's pretty cool. There you go, Jared. 2 state championship rings. I have no idea, honestly. Michael, I think he would be better in year 2, but he's not going to be the DC, so he's gone. Mark says he's gray as well. Greg, what's up, man? It's all good, Greg. Greg, one of our many Bama PHLers. They had 2 good linebackers and they had 2 defensive backs get drafted in the first 3 rounds of the draft. That defense was just loaded. I mean, there's no other way around it. That Kentucky defense was really freaking good. So yeah. I don't even know what's happening with James Craig. You could inform me. I don't know. I've been so focused on just current stuff. Exactly, Mo Funky. It's blonde. It's blonde hair. It's just the light that's coming in. Greg, thank you so much for the generous cash app. I appreciate it, man. You didn't miss a whole lot, man. Just chatting about Matt House here. Here we go. We can play house. McLaughern. That's your guy, Jason. Jason's a big Nudie McLaughern fan. I like it. Who's all going to the bowl game? I might need a ticket. Whoever wants to sit with me. Who wants to sit with me at the bowl game? Chris, I got you, my friend. And Chris, text me who your favorite player is. Same thing for you, Adam. Who's your favorite player? Please email me and I'll hook you up. Okay. Now, this is true from Danielle. There is a double standard when it comes to gray hair, right? Because, like, when men get gray hair, you're a silver fox. It's wisdom. But when women get gray hair, it's like, oh, look at Betty White here getting up in age. You're right about that, Danielle. I like gray hair. I think it looks great on everyone. Show off the age, baby. Gray hair is underrated. In fact, I had gray hair my sophomore year of college. I had gray hair very early. Kayshon's not going anywhere. I think you should feel pretty good about that. Premier League festive fixtures. Let's see. It's a good question here from Paris. I hope. Cardell getting the start and playing a lot versus Texas A&M, but Marcus Dumerville playing a lot as the extra unbalanced lineman has been they played fine. I love it. Yeah, Michael, don't do that. Jamar's prices are insane right now. And I would stay away from buying Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and wait. Out of all the times to ever not buy a Joe Burrow card, it's right now. The prices are at all-time highs. In fact, Joe Burrow's rookie card outsold every other rookie card on the market this weekend. And I do have a football card podcast where we actually talked about that today. It's cool when I get to talk about LSU guys on my – and it's kind of an NFL show. So, yeah, it's always fun. Tony got a charger for his phone. Welcome to 2021, Tony. Soon to be 2022. Thank you, Mark. A crown of glory. Michael, we wouldn't know because you got the Nashville filter going on here. So, guys, if you can, go subscribe, to my football card podcast right there. Let's go. Welcome to the channel. Let's go. La Rougarou. Everybody was waiting for Van to get in here. What's up, Van? Good to see you. Oh, you bought Burrows last season? Good. You got it at its cheapest. Jared said, whatever hair I have here. Ooh, Jason, this is, man. You know, this comment here from Jason, you know, whenever you're skimming TV late at night and you actually click on Showtime or HBO and some Skinamax is on the television and you're like, "Ooh, really? They're showing that on TV?" That's how I felt just then when Jason said this comment. Like, you're just shocked. You're like, "Really? That on my TV? It's not even real." That's how I felt when I read this comment. I was that shocked. I was that shocked. Xavier Carter. I love it. One minor correction. It is Xavier Carter. Xavier Carter, of course, is the former disgraced LSU track star. But I got your point, right? Jason, you might be right. Number 17, Xavier Carter, played on special teams mostly. That is the role he would play. There's still some Philip Webb truthers in here. Van, Matt House is the next Bill Belichick. So we have never done this before. We have never done this in the history of PHL. Never. But Van, shoot me a text. I could put Van on the stream right now. If Van wants to come on, Van, shoot me a text if you want to come on. I understand you're busy. You recorded like 50,000 videos today. If you want to come on, let me know. I'll put you on right now. Jason, I couldn't believe it. Matt House is the next Bill Belichick. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. But really, Van, I know I'm just bringing that on you. I hope you don't hate me now. But if you want to come on, come hang out, because there's a bunch of Van Lathan fans. It's amazing how many texts people send me like, I can't believe I missed it. I was doing Christmas stuff. You shouldn't have done it on December 23rd. But that's the thing. PHL stops for nobody. Nobody. But the bottom line still remains the same, right? I hope you're right. Obviously, Matt House coming from the NFL, studying under Steve Spagnuolo, Ken FlaJoy, who, of course, has been at a lot of different places as an NFL coach, and also getting to be around a great player like Tyrann Mathieu. Hopefully that bleeds off of Matt House, and he is the next great defensive coordinator at LSU. He's the next great Dave Aranda. I hope. I really, really hope. I don't, but I'm not camera ready. Huh? All right, man. I didn't mean to bring it on. I was just going to let you drop that knowledge. I'm not fronting either. There's so many people that text me like, I remember Jared called me and he was like, Carter, Van Lathan stuff was so interesting. The honey badger is high on House. He tweeted good things about him. Boom. Crossroads. It's just for you, my friend. Let's go, Kobe. Philip Webb is the real Spider-Man. Van's going to love that as our Marvel guy. I love it. There you go, Michael. Where have you been, man? Michael's avatar is always on point. I don't, but I'm not camera ready. I think some people got excited. They're like, wait, Van's jumping on again? I didn't mean to spring it on you. Thank you again for the super chat. And remember, PHL is a dog first channel. Speaking of which, we have not gotten to see the Z Baby yet. Let's go to Donovan. Thank you for another super chat. Yeah, I mean, look, Donovan, this is a sucky thing about the coaching industry, right? I've shared before, there are quite a few coordinators that I know that watch the channel, some at the high school level, some at the college level. It just sucks. It just sucks. Blake Baker and Durante Jones were great, but every time you sign the dotted line to be a coordinator, you're just not gonna. There's no stability. What is someone shared a stat in here earlier? Which they said coordinators average 2 years at each stop. Can you believe that? 2 years at each stop. So there you go. So everyone comment down below which LSU player benefits the most from a house defense. Comment your answer. I'm going to put up a new poll question for Van here. Let's do this. All right, Van, I'm going to give a slightly different variation for your poll question here. Okay. Cordell Flott, I love it. I hope he comes back. I really do. So I made a slightly different change. Van, I think the player that benefits the most from a house defense is actually going to be Jaquelin Roy, right? So I think Jaquelin Roy and Chris Jones are like the same exact player. They're very similar football players. Their build, their style of play. And I think if we get a Chris Jones like of performance from Jaquelin Roy next year, we're going to win a lot of football games. Mike Jones. Love it, man. Honestly, the answer though is probably Ojulari. I think Donovan's on point about this here, Van. He's draft eligible after next season. Also, Josh Allen was the big player under Matt House. Obviously, his biggest player was Aaron Donald, who's the best defensive player, arguably, of the modern era. Well, he is the best defensive player in the modern era. So, yeah. Outside of that, though, Josh Allen was their best player, and I hope BJ Ojulari takes a Josh Allen type of leap. Mason Smith will have the most impact. Lots of Mason Smith love in here. Mike Jones and Josh White would be great inside. Have Ojulari, Webb Carter rotate on the outside. I like it. I like your mind, Jason. Jason's got a sharp football mind. I love me some Jason. I wonder what Clyde thinks about House. He probably likes him, but, NFL's very segmented. You mostly just stick with your position groups. That's just football in general. So Tyrann Mathieu definitely spent more time with Matt House, but I'm sure Clyde likes him. I think Darrell Williams would probably know him a little bit better because, he was with Matt House all 3 years. Let's see. There you go, Danielle. Ulysses has great insight as well. Yeah, BJ and Josh are very similar players, so I like it. So I would have to say Ojulari. I think Donovan's right on Van's question here. So I would definitely say Ojulari after a little bit more time. So yeah. Oh no, Tony. Not ready for the Master Blaster to leave. Who wants the Master Blaster to stay? Donovan, we turn the page. Ooh, Quincy Wiggins. I like it. There you go, Reed. We haven't mentioned Quincy's name yet. Yeah, Patrick Queen's had a good year. So there you go. There's Van. There you go. Look at him. I love it. Don't forget, we had Jay Hill as our first guest, Van Lathan this past Thursday, and next Thursday we'll have Blake Ruffino on with us. It should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it big time. Miles is very injury prone. True. Caucus! Good news, your cards are in the mail along with your booger bands. But Donovan, the real answer to Van's question, if you want to galaxy brain this, is Harold Perkins. Harold Perkins! I love it. Oh, we're getting into Arch Manning discussion. It's not a live chat unless Arch Manning's name gets brought up. Caucus, I tried to find you a Ty Jerome or Kyle Guy card. I couldn't find it. Will JONTRE really be the quarterback at this point, Michael? I think he will. The thing is, the issue isn't the fact that Matt O'Dowd or Tavian Falk is a walk-on. Well, it is part of the issue. It's a big part of the issue. The bigger issue, though, is that they're freshmen. They're very young. So, yeah, I kind of would rather an adult play the quarterback position, and JONTRE has to be one of the older guys on the team. You should be excited. Let's go. Jacobian as well, baby. Let's go. Greg, thanks again for your generous super chat. Let's spend some time on this. Do you think BK can retain seniors in the future like Bama and others? This is actually a really good question. It's harder to retain seniors. Once again, it's amazing that Alabama was able to keep Devonta Smith and Najee Harris for that extra year. I think so. Obviously, when you win, it makes that a lot easier. You look at some of the national championship teams that we had. One of the key statistics, Greg, and I'm glad you brought this up, is LSU has never won a national championship or gotten to a SEC championship when they've had 7 or more guys drafted in the NFL draft. We did a deep dive on this. This was actually one of our first videos we've ever done, where we did, I think it was episode 9. It was our 9th video we've ever done, Greg. So you have to go way back into the archives. Michael, good night. I was going to shout out an Elias Durant reference. Drew, there you go. I love it. That was so funny from Jeremy. It really was. But yeah, Greg, it's interesting. LSU has never won a national championship where they've had 7 or more guys drafted in the NFL draft. LSU on average has about 7 NFL draft picks per year. And obviously last year we had more than 7 if you include the opt-outs. So yeah, you don't want too many players selected, right? Because that means a lot of guys didn't stay that extra year. And that also means you're losing a good football player. So yeah, that senior retention thing is a really good point, because before 2019, we only had 3 players selected, which was tied for the fewest since 2003. So one of the more underrated statistics in LSU football is the amount of draft picks. It is good to have a lot of draft picks because it's good in recruiting to say we had a gazillion draft picks. However, it's not good for next year's team, and history actually backs that up. If you want me to dive a little deeper into that, once again, go to I think it was episode 9. I don't remember. I remember the thumbnail was like Devin White and LaRon Landry. So yeah, I don't know Brian Kelly's track record as far as retaining seniors. I will say this, Greg, to go a little deeper on this. Brian Kelly himself, I keep hearing, well, Notre Dame didn't have elite talent. Well, these last 5 years, they killed it in the NFL draft. And a lot of the guys they selected got selected in the draft were athletic freaks. Chase Claypool, Will Fuller, Jock. I don't know how to say his name for the Browns, is a freak of nature. And obviously Kyle Hamilton's probably the best overall athlete in this next draft. So yeah, he's up there. So yeah, I mean, Brian Kelly, I think he'll do a better job of it. But we'll see. A lot of it is personal, though. It's just tough. It's tough. Yeah, we talked about Cam Lewis quite a bit in the last live stream. Don't sleep on Desmond Little. I love me some Desmond Little. TDP is going to carry us this bowl game. Let's go. I'm glad he didn't opt out either. Yeah, that's a good point, Danielle. At O'Dowd on life support, not a good thing. He's not technically on life support, but he could be. When you go from not expecting you're ever going to play to being where you are now, it's crazy. Let's go. Some Desmond Little. I like it. Yeah, I don't know, Gassy Gamer. He might. Let's see. That's the thing, Drew. It's hard to find a good zero tech, right? Siaki Ika. That depresses me. I don't know how Ed Orgeron butchered this defensive line, but he did. Siaki Ika was a baller. Miles will win the Heisman. Let's go. Ooh, King Ulysses, you're not one for bold opinions like this. I love it. All right, guys, we're coming up on 2 hours. I know a lot of you have work tomorrow. Don't forget, 8:05 Central this Thursday, me and Blake right here. You guys know we might start fist fighting virtually. Blake and I don't always see eye to eye on things. Danielle knows this. Me and Blake got to fight over Danielle for the live chat. But we joined forces on Thursday. I've been on Blake's channel a ton. He's going to be on mine. He's one of my best buds. His Christmas card is on my refrigerator, even though I've never met the guy. It's going to be a lot of fun. You don't want to miss out on it. Blake's going to be a beast. Really freaking excited about it. I think the hard thing, though, is like, I don't know who we're going to get after Blake, right? I know Blake's going to be great. Obviously, Van Lathan was phenomenal. Jeremy Hill was freaking phenomenal. I still get chills. I went back and I listened to part of the Jeremy Hill interview. And if you haven't listened to either one of them, the Jeremy Hill and the Van Lathan interview, you can go to our YouTube page. And I actually had the interviews time-stamped. So if you want to flip ahead to Van Lathan's crazy Kanye West stories, you can do that. Or if you want just this really good LSU breakdown, you could do that as well. And obviously Jeremy Hill, who, he's Jeremy freaking Hill. The whole thing is just phenomenal. I'm minus 115. Blake's a big dude, man. Blake's a big dude. I was a defensive tackle, though, and he was an offensive lineman. We should do one-on-one pass rush reps, me versus Blake. We should. All right, Bruce. Let's talk about this, okay? So, boom. All right, so Bruce says, overall defense, Pitt 2013 was number 71, and then in 2014, they were number 34, okay? That is true, but it's also a little, and Bruce, I love you, it's also a little misleading, okay? So this is why I use yards per play, okay? So in total defense, Pitt was in the top 50 in 2014. Bruce is right about that, okay? But the reason why I use yards per play is because overall defense is heavily influenced by the amount of plays you play per game, okay? Let me put this up just for you really quickly, Bruce, because you are my guy. So let me pull this up right here, okay? All right. Actually, I'll just put this whole list up. There we go. Let me upload it to this wonderful thing right here, Bruce. Okay. This is why it could be a little misleading. Okay. Let me delete this, put this right here. Okay. Okay. So what you're looking at here, I'll move this banner. Okay. So I know this looks a little strange, but you see here, these are the defensive plays per game team ranking. Okay. So as you see, while Pitt was number 34 in total defense in 2014, they also played the 10th fewest plays per game. So when you use total or overall numbers, your overall numbers in theory are going to be better because you're playing fewer plays, right? So you notice Bruce's comment here, in 2014, they were number 34 in total yards per game. I think that's what you mean by overall defense. But when you actually look at yards per play, instead of number 34, you see on a yard per play basis, they're actually 68th. And then when you Power 5 adjust it, they were 12th out of 14 in the ACC, which is obviously not good. So that's the thing. That is true. You are not wrong. It's just Pitt played at an extremely slow pace because their coach was Paul Chryst. Okay? Benny Snell was a beast. So that's the thing. If you go back here, this is something else that makes me a little skeptical about Matt House, is that so you are right. Going from number 71 to number 34, that is true. And then once again, I there's no defend. I mean, 2018, they were great. Kentucky's defense of 2018 were really good. But that's why, yards per play is a little bit better, because if you play fewer plays per game, your total yards are just going to be lower. It's just truth. That's why, yards per play. And it is just one stat. But once again, let's pull up another stat. Let's pull this graphic up one more time. Okay? All right? Kevin, thank you so much. I appreciate the bug bands. Thank you so much, man. But yards per play is just one stat. So let's look at yard per pass attempt. Okay? Yard per pass attempt gives us a good judgment on how good you are defending the pass, while at the same time defending explosive pass plays. And as you can see, once again, despite Matt House having history as a secondary coach at Pitt, his secondaries weren't good either. 81st in yards per attempt, 62nd in yards per attempt, 67th in yards per pass attempt, then 98th. Then obviously in 2013, 2014, they still weren't good at yards per pass attempt, 7.9, 7.0, and then 8.1. So there you go. But once again, that's 2017. It is beneficiary that his last year was his best year, which is always a really good thing. Okay? It's always a really good thing. But that's why I don't. Once again, it's perfectly fine if you want to use total defense. I just think it's a little flawed. And I understand yards per play and yards per pass attempt aren't the only two defensive stats. There's obviously turnovers. There's obviously red zone defense, field goal percentage. There's all those different things. But also keep this in mind as well. Paul Chryst and Mark Stoops are also very conservative coaches, and that they're not going to be as aggressive on fourth down. So starting field position was probably also pretty good for Matt House as well. I don't have that in front of me. I could be totally wrong on that. That's just me thinking out loud. So it's just different. But like I said on Preston's show earlier, and I'll say it again now, he does fit better with the likes of a Brian Kelly, who doesn't play at a really fast pace. So, it's good. Plus, it's good to see you again, Bruce. That's dope, Kevin. Kevin said he's gonna wear the booger bands at the game next Tuesday. So I got to get these out tomorrow. I hope they get there on time. Dang, Texas Tech really put it on them, huh? 34-7? Guys, Texas Tech sucks. They were not good this year. What about the most important stat, scoring? Once again, scoring is heavily affected by how many plays you play per game, right? If you play shorter games, there's just not going to be as many points. Points were actually fine, right? But then again, that could fluctuate, right? Especially if you go to the SEC, where Alabama plays at a fast pace, Mississippi State plays at a fast pace, Ole Miss plays at a fast pace, Arkansas does as well. I could see Harsin speeding things up next year. So, yeah, we'll see. Reed, I don't leave out the stats. In fact, I brought up those stats during the Madhouse deep dive. I've always just used yards per play and yards per attempt. But yeah, let's just 2018 was good. That is true, Michael. And that's the thing. Denbrock, let's just say Denbrock is the offensive coordinator. Cincinnati in plays per game was like 120th in college football in offensive plays per game. So they played really slow, right? And Brian Kelly is also someone that could be a little bit more methodical. So Matt House would fit better with those two guys, which could be part of Brian Kelly's plan. Matthew says I'm rooting against the SEC in every game. Sure. Why not? All right, guys, we hit the 2-hour mark. We'll do this. We'll keep this party going if we get a super chat in the next 5 minutes. But if not, I'll answer as many questions as we possibly can in this next 5. Mike, ooh. Here's what I'll do. If you super chat, I'll talk more about Matt House. If not, this will end in a second, and the live stream will be immediately available for you to watch. I also did a Madhouse deep dive last week. And also, Mike, welcome to the channel. Overall, though, I'll give you a Cliff Notes version. Not on fire about it, but I do see some upside there. Yeah, Michael, you did super chat about JONTRE, so I'll go a little bit deeper. I touched on it a little bit earlier as well. So JONTRE Kirklin's high school numbers were actually pretty good. I'll pull it up right here. I actually I'll do this just for you, Michael, because it's good to have you back. So I want to show you this right here, Michael. So you see right here in the middle. Okay, let me see if I could zoom this in, Michael. So you notice JONTRE KIRKLIN, as a senior, threw for 181 yards per game. Okay, that's a lot of passing yards for a running quarterback. He also added 70 rushing yards per game for 250 yards per game as a quarterback who shouldn't be playing quarterback. It's actually really, really good. Um, so yeah, I was kind of shocked at how good his high school numbers were. His completion percentage wasn't great, but that's normally how most quarterbacks who don't play quarterback in college, it's completion percentage is also down for them. So yeah, I could see us winning this game with him at quarterback. I know that sounds far fetched. I could see it. Totally hates Matt House. I don't totally hate him. I don't. Obviously, you know, he could be great. Once again, there's a lot of information that I don't know. I wasn't in the job interview. I don't know what Matt House's defensive philosophy is. I don't know how much he's changed as a coach since his years with the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, being around Tyrann Mathieu, the smartest football player I've ever seen, my favorite football player of all time, being around someone like that is just going to make you smarter. Being around Steve Spagnuolo is going to make you smarter. Being around Andy freaking Reid and Patrick Mahomes is going to make you smarter. It's going to help you learn things. And let's be honest, his last year as a defensive coordinator was his best year. So that's obviously really exciting as well. I'm just saying, based on the information we know about him as a college coach, it wouldn't light. Let me say this: if you weren't an LSU fan, if I wasn't an LSU fan and I saw that resume, it just wouldn't. I would be like, that's interesting. So yeah. And once again, this is a really good point. It helps having a better head coach. If you have an elite head coach, it can mask bad coordinators. I don't think Bill O'Brien's a good offensive coordinator at Alabama. He's got Nick Saban, so it doesn't matter. Sure. I don't love him. I don't hate him, if that's okay. Will Stingley go to the NFL after the bowl game? Yes, he will. Yeah. I mean, that's just, yeah. Great live chat tonight, guys. It was fun. So here's what I'll do. Okay. If you want to watch my Matt House deep dive, my initial one, where we actually break down a little film from the Penn State game, there's a link right there. Look, I'll even post it again. And we shall talk to you soon. Don't forget, Thursday will be the next time you see me, more than likely. I might post a video tomorrow. But we've already done our Matt House deep dive. Steve, good to hear from you, man. So Steve super chatted, so we're going to hang out for a little bit. I was just getting ready to end this thing. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. Steve's going to be at the bowl game. There you go. Good to see you. So we're going to hang out for a little bit longer. All right, Steve, you get to ask the next question. Go right on ahead, man. Oh, Steve wants me to go to bed. Okay. I'll answer Pegasus' question. Who's the best QB going into the draft? I'd go Corral, then Ritter. So here's a funny thing, Pegasus. Didn't Joe Burrow wear gloves this past weekend versus the Ravens? I saw him in warmups wearing that. I don't think he wore them in the game, though. Steve, thank you so much. You got my email, my brother. Tommy and the wifey, good to hear from you. Branson, what's good, man? So yeah, Pegasus, I don't know. I'm not on fire by Corral, but also at the same time, he didn't really have any receivers to throw to. His receivers kept getting hurt this year, and he lost Elijah Moore and Kenny Yeboah this offseason. So yeah, Corral, a little bit of a dual threat. Most of the games he won this year were actually on the ground. That Tennessee game was a gutsy performance. So sure. I would probably go Corral. If I'm drafting purely on upside, I'm probably taking Willis because he's ridiculous. He's got so many questionable performances. All these quarterbacks do. Obviously, I'm really high on Bryce Young as an NFL quarterback. And it's also kind of interesting, Pegasus. This last draft class wasn't great. I still think Justin Fields is going to be the best quarterback in this last class. Also, a lot of good young quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't know if there's a lot of upward mobility for a lot of young quarterbacks coming in. I think a lot of you would agree Justin Herbert's really good. I think a lot of you would agree that Joe Burrow's really good. Josh Allen still has no less than 5 years of prime left. Kyler Murray the same way. Jalen Hurts looks good. Dak Prescott is still young. He's got 5 years of prime left. I just don't know if there's much upward mobility for young quarterbacks. I don't know, Sip. That's very interesting. I don't think really all that much, but it is interesting. Madden, RIP. Yeah, we did a tribute to him a little bit earlier in the chat. Boutte, good to see you. The Van Lathan interview was awesome. I keep getting this. Yeah, he was, once again, it's amazing what he's accomplished in his career. Thank you, Tommy. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Blake is going to be a lot of fun, too, on Thursday. You guys don't want to miss it. Tracy as well. Tracy getting on her account. I like it. Well, Pegasus, that's... There are actually a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. Panthers need a quarterback. Broncos need a quarterback. Maybe the Saints, depending on Jameis Winston's rehab and how you view Jameis. So, yeah, I do too. I think every single one of us does. BK deep dive when he makes the offensive coordinator hire. We will do that. I said I was going to do it when he got hired. I thought the coordinator hires would happen a lot quicker. Obviously, the exact opposites happened, so we will get that deep dive out there. Plus, deep dives do take a lot of time, and while they do take a lot of time, as much as I like doing them, it's one of my favorite things to do in media. It can be a little bit of a grind. So there you go. Tommy, thank you so much. I appreciate you. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom! Ooh, okay. Sip, that's spicy. I am a Tyler Huntley believer. I'm a believer. Even though a lot of his throws were to Mark Huntley or Mark Andrews, wide open. He just looks like he's got some real pop to his game. So I think Seattle's going to overpay for him. After Russell Wilson comes to the Saints. Let's go. Let's see this real quick. This is actually really cool. I watch the show all the time on the big TV. First time commenter, what you do. Pictures of myself with LSU middle linebacker, Damon Clark. That is such a great photo. And Damon, of course, is the absolute best Tiger ever when it comes to being a true Tiger, overcoming adversity, playing different positions, wearing the number 18 uniform, being from Baton Rouge. I love it. That made my night, Kyle. Thank you so much. And thanks to all our super chatters. As always, our big-time super chatters. King Robert, Jared, all our Booger Band. A lot of new Booger Band Club members tonight. Shout out to Kevin. Shout out to Chris. Adam and Matt, new Booger Band Club members. Johnny 5, of course, always wanting more and more Booger Bands. I love it. And tonight, we're doing tacos tonight. Let's go.